Welcome to the Amazing Clarks podcast on the Black Love Podcast Network. My name is Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are the Amazing
Clarks.
We're both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together for 22 years and that have been passionately in love for 30 years. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
And you are joining our love revolution on our podcast. Today we'll be talking about entanglement. And here we share energy and love, and we want to create more love in the universe by teaching you how to love yourself and others more.
Entanglement. That's going to be a good one.
Okay, well, first, before we get to entanglement, how was your week?
Oh, catching up with the Clarks. All right, let's catch up. My week was pretty damn good.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty damn good.
I live with you, and I feel excited to hear what's that about. What was so damn good?
You know, there was a lot of, every day I wake up, it's a good day. Every day I wake up alive, it's a good day. Like I'm going to wake up like a zombie or something.
Right.
Yeah, that ain't happening. Well, the highlight for this past week for me was our little get together with the kids. We did a little, what would that be? A picnic? Impromptu barbecue.
Yeah.
And 2 of the 3 showed up. That's not bad. I mean, we'll take that. But
yes.
And we had a great time. Yes. And then after Evan left, it was just me, you, and Nicole, and we were talking, and we had some really deep conversations. And she said some things that really, really touched my heart.
Aww.
And just was like, wow, just love that girl.
I do too.
Yeah. And she was saying that she loved when she was growing up and the role that I played. And she was saying that I brought intelligence and consciousness into our family, and how we would go watch movies and take the kids, and how after the movies, like we'd go see The Matrix.
Yes.
And then afterwards I'd have a discussion with the kids and be like, hey, so what did this movie mean to you? What did you get out of this movie? Gave them the invitation to express bigger thoughts and get into their consciousness. And at the time I didn't know if they were loving it, if they were getting irritated or whatever.
Right.
But it just felt like I want them to grow. I want them to expand. And so for her to come back and be like, you know what, Dad, I love that you used to do that. And that meant so much to me, and it helped our family so much. It was like, oh, beautiful.
I'm with you because I felt the same way. It was such a great time with her, and just so much love was expressed, and just appreciation and gratitude for us and how we tried to be great parents. We didn't always make the right choices, but we did the best that we could. Yes, and she was acknowledging that and telling us, like, she was showing us that she gets us and that she sees us and she sees our intention. And just hearing you talk about like how much she gets us. And during that time, I remember we took them to see The Matrix, her and Jerron, and we took them to see The Matrix, and we just had these deep discussions for like a month about The Matrix and the nature of reality. And they were so into it and they loved it, and they felt cool. They felt cool because they had information that other young people their age didn't have. And it's so interesting. It's bittersweet because today is Jerron's birthday, and
Jerron is our nephew.
Yes, Jerron is our nephew that passed away 10 years ago. Today would have been his 39th birthday. So happy 39th heavenly birthday,
happy
Jerron.
Birthday,
we love
nephew.
you.
We
miss
love
you.
Yes, we do.
But such joy and love during that time, and it was nice revisiting that with her. So yeah, I'm with you. That was the highlight of the week. I'll take that too.
Yeah, perfect. That's actually a perfect segue into our main topic, entanglement.
Yes.
Because I can still feel Jerron.
Yes.
And I can still communicate with him. You can do the same thing.
Yes.
With people that have crossed over and that are out of physical form.
Right.
It's all about entanglement. So we're going to break that down to you today, what entanglement is and why it's so amazing and what powerful role it can play in your life if you know how to use it to your advantage in all areas of your life. First of all, let me give you guys some examples. Have you ever thought about somebody and they've been on your mind, then all of a sudden they call you? And you're like, wow, that's weird. I was just thinking of you. Or have you ever felt like something was wrong with somebody in your life, even though they weren't around you? And you're like, wait, let me reach out to this person. And then you do it, and then they are going through some crisis and something's wrong. That's not luck. That's not an accident. That's because you are entangled with that person. And when I'm saying entangled, what I mean by that is that when we look at the physical world, our external world, there's this separation, this illusion of separation. I'm over here, you're over there, and there's space in between us. But that's really just an illusion that your brain has created. Actually, we are all connected. We are all one. In quantum physics, when they drill down into a particle, the furthest down they can go is 10 to the negative 33 centimeters. At that point, they hit the fabric of the universe. And at that point, everything in the universe is one. Us, the stars, the oceans, anything that exists, it's all one. That's why we are all entangled. So think about it like this. When the Big Bang Theory, if you guys are familiar with that, what happened was that supposedly there was this explosion and everything expanded, but everything was connected. It just expanded. And now here we are existing in this universe. We're still part of that connection. We're just all an expanded version of it. We're always communicating with each other. We're always in contact with each other. We just don't consciously realize it. So when you're sitting around, you having negative thoughts about somebody, they're feeling it on a subconscious level. When you're sitting around having positive thoughts about someone, sending love to them, they're feeling it on a subconscious level.
Right.
So you can communicate with people. In fact, you are always communicating with them, even though you are not consciously aware of it.
Energetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do it all the time with the kids especially.
Yes.
You'll be sitting around and be like, wait a minute, I got to call my babies. And you'll reach out and there'll be something going on. They'll be like, oh, mommy, I'm just so glad you called me because I was just thinking of you.
Yes. That does happen to me all the time. Before I talk about entanglement, I just want to tell you, your brain is so sexy. I just love you. You get so passionate and so excited when you talk about the science of energy and of life. And I just love having these conversations with you. So I just want to acknowledge that. I'm grateful.
Thank you for that.
I'm grateful that we have this in common. It's amazing that we have it in common and we can talk about this with each other. It tends to happen with clients a lot. So the first time it happened, this is a really amazing story. So the first time it happened, I was working in downtown LA and I had a patient that had liver disease. And he started talking to me about the fact that he needed a transplant. And so I started talking to people about helping him get a transplant. So I reached out to like my network of people that I knew. Did anybody know somebody who was a match to him? Then helping him to do some energetic work and some spiritual work. So he has the transplant and I had given him our business card and it had our picture on it. And he called me one night and I didn't answer and he left me a message. And he said, I just want to tell you that the work you did with me, like I can feel you. I can feel the love that you're sending my way. I can feel that you're helping me heal. When I get overwhelmed by what's going on in my life, I hear your voice in my head telling me it's going to be okay. And the first time it happened, I just felt overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like with like, wow, this is amazing that Spirit's working through me like this. But because I had given him so much love and care and compassion for his situation, we had a real connection and he could feel me through that connection and I could feel him through that connection. And after that happened, I started noticing it would happen more and more. Clients would say, they call it, I didn't make it up, clients made it up. They said what was happening was, what would Melanie say? What would Anthony say? Right. So when things are happening in their lives, they would literally hear us guiding them in their mind. They would feel our energy and we'd feel them. And it would be exactly what we would tell them to do. Yeah. They would pick up on. Yeah. And that's because we are all connected. We're all entangled. Yes. And so, I'm going to take it even deeper. The outside, in quantum physics, this is a fact, the outside world is just a hologram of what's going on inside of you. Mm-hmm. So everything outside of you, the only reason you can experience it outside of you is because it is inside of you. Mm-hmm. And so this includes people. Right. Every single person that you see outside of you, the only reason you can experience them outside of you is because they are inside of you. I look at it as... That's a very deep concept. It is. So look at it like everybody outside of you is a cell in your body that's being projected outwardly. And you are a cell in everybody else's body that can experience you. So whenever you want something, let's say, for example, you want love. Right. You're a single individual and you want love. Mm-hmm. That person that's for you
is out there, or those people.
Right.
That's why if you're a vibrational match to whatever you're a vibrational match to, you'll attract that.
Right.
Because you are connected. When you are in alignment and in love and happy, then you're also connecting to other people. You're entangled with other people that are like that.
Right.
And then the law of attraction kicks in, and that's how it brings you guys together. That's why you'll always find each other, regardless. We could put you on separate parts of the planet, and you'll find each other. You know, there's even those experiments that we were watching with the military, what they were doing.
Right.
The U.S. military in Russia in World War II, and even up to this day, they were studying this, and they proved that it worked, and they were using it in covert missions.
Right.
So basically, they learned that they can take two people and get them familiar with each other. And then they could separate those people, put them miles away.
Right.
They put one in the warehouse and one someplace completely, like literally miles or hundreds of miles away. And they had one think certain thoughts, and the other one picked them up.
Yes.
And they even at one point recorded. They sent love to each other back and forth.
Yes.
And they could record the frequencies of love going back and forth because we are all entangled.
Yes.
And so it's like cell phones.
Right.
Your cell phone's connected to my cell phone, but it's connected to everybody else that has a cell phone. So I can call and connect with anybody, and they can do it with me. It's just that most people don't believe it.
Right.
So they can't consciously tap into it.
Right.
But it's happening either way, whether you believe it or not.
Right. I don't know if it's even that they believe it. Most people are not studying this kind of
Yeah, they
stuff and don't
that's
have
true.
this information,
They're
right?
not nerds
So
like,
they're not
like us.
they're not nerding out like us over quantum physics and entanglement, because it's kind of our jam. But I would say, like, when you feel really connected to someone, that is entanglement. You and I are really entangled. We a lot of times have the same thoughts. We'll complete each other's sentences. And that's us picking up on each other's frequency. This is really interesting. I had read a book a long time ago. I can't even remember who wrote it, but it was talking about entanglement, and it was talking about how women, when we have our cycles, we all connect with each other.
Yes.
Like we all connect on the same frequency of our menstrual cycle, and we feel each other. And that's why, like, most women have experienced this. If you work with a group of other women, all of our cycles sync up with each other. And that's part of entanglement. That's our bodies reacting to the entanglement of our energy with each other. I think the whole thing is like amazing and fascinating.
It is amazing. It's beautiful.
So I'm going to ask you, to me, you're the entanglement expert. I just, kind of hang out with you and have these discussions.
Expert, but okay.
You're expert to me, babe.
All right, I'll accept that.
You've done way more study on this than I have. So let me ask you this. When it comes to entanglement, are there things that you can do or we can do, let's you and I do this, are there things that we can do to become even more entangled with each other in a positive way? Like, I don't want to create like codependency or anything like that, but like, how can we be more entangled and like share our gifts with each other? That's what it would be. Sharing the good parts of ourselves with each other.
One of the ways that you can do it is by opening up your heart, by emotionally connecting from the heart with that other person.
Yes.
So if I look at you and let's say we're eye gazing.
Yes.
And holding hands, soul gazing. And we're feeling love for each other.
Okay.
That love, it's almost like it's strengthening the connection.
Right.
It's giving it more information that we're exchanging so we can identify each other even better.
So like focusing in on each other more.
Right. With emotions.
Okay.
Well, even if you did it with anger, you would still be able to do it.
So
But
let me go out on a
use
limb
that.
here. Would lovemaking
Definitely.
entangle you more?
Definitely. Because you feel that person more on an energetic level.
Yeah.
You're more familiar with that energy. Having the same conversations, getting, the same topics, and kind of getting on each other's frequency of thought patterns.
Right. I have another question, since you're the expert.
Oh, you got me. Okay. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
Is there any way to become unentangled with people?
Impossible. That's because it's energy.
Okay.
And energy never dies. It just goes into form and out of form. You may not be as sensitive to it,
Right.
but you can never untangle yourself from each other. As long as we're energy, we're never going to die just into form and out of form.
All right. But what if you are entangled with someone and it's negative and they're not treating you well or you don't like them anymore? Can you be like, all right, I don't want to be tangled with your energy anymore. Untangle.
You know
Like,
what
would you do about that? Would you continue to feel them? Would you continue to feel connected to that?
If you continued focusing on them, then you would.
So it comes down to what I'm hearing is it comes down to where you're focusing. We're all entangled.
We're
anyway.
all entangled, right?
Anyway,
but most of the time we're not listening,
and we don't have awareness of it.
Right.
So if you want to have awareness of it, especially in a positive way, then it would be about focusing your energy on each other in a positive way.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Here's a perfect, cool example of entanglement. On the episode when we talked about the inner child work, and I talked about when I did my inner child work, and I had a photo of myself at a certain age, thinking about like 7. Once I did that work, I kind of connected with my mother on an energetic level because I was thinking about her because I was doing my inner child work. And as I started having love and appreciation for her and changing my perspective and letting things go and forgiveness of things, when I did that, she reached out to me and said that she loved me. And she sent me, and connected to the text was a photo, that same exact photo that I had, that I was doing my inner child work with.
Yeah.
And how did she know? How did she feel that?
Right.
Because we are entangled.
Yes.
And especially with your parents, you know what I'm saying, with family and parents, and that connection is incredibly strong.
Yes, 100%. I definitely
and
feel that.
And we're more sensitive to it because we want that connection with our children, and we want that connection. That's with our family. So we pay closer attention to it. We nurture it more. We value it more, and so we tap into it more.
Yeah. I hear people say all the time, like, I want to feel connected. I want to feel more connected. I want to feel more connected with my spouse. I want to feel more connected with my friends or whatever. The people are really searching for connection right now. So is entanglement a way that they could realize that they already have it? Because one of the things with law of attraction,
Very true. That's good.
Right?
That's
One
good.
of the things with law of attraction is that you have to embody what you want. And this is the work, right? This is the hard part for people, to suspend reality and embody what you want and feel like you have it. That's embodying it, right? Like feel like you're it already. That's what embodying means. But to do that, you have to suspend reality, because if you don't have it right now, you want to keep looking at like, I don't have it right now. So in particular, I'm talking about like loneliness. I hear people say all the time, like, I feel alone and I feel loneliness. And what you're saying in entanglement is actually we're all connected. And if you could recognize that you're not lonely, there is not loneliness, you're one with everything and all that is, and you could play with that energy and embody that energy and download that concept, then you would attract more people to come into your world to take away the loneliness that you're telling yourself that you're experiencing, which I don't want to discount anybody's experience, because if that's what they're experiencing, that's what they are. But I'm talking about using energy to attract something different in your life. So entanglement is a scientific reality. You can look it up or you can learn more about it.
Quantum physics.
But just knowing like loneliness is a man-made concept. Like we created the fact that if we don't see other people around us, we're lonely. But we're always connected. We're always connected. Even though everyone's seeking connection, we're always connected.
Exactly. And if you're lonely, it's because of your perspective.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's making you lonely.
Yes, I agree with that.
But we're never alone. You're absolutely right. And to go back to what I was saying about being entangled, where everybody that you see outside of you is a part of you, inside of you.
Right.
That it's just a hologram of them projected outside of you. So once I realized that, then I realized that when I'm seeing people on the street, let's say somebody that irritates me, someone that I don't like, I realize that, whoa, that person is a version of me.
Yeah.
So when I hate and I have anger towards that person, it's really inside of me. I'm hating myself. That's why you feel that hate inside of you. You can project it out there, but you feel it inside because that person is you. So likewise, if you look at people and you have appreciation, forgiveness, love towards them, even though they irritate the crap out of you, and compassion, you're going to feel better because that person is inside of you. They're a cell being projected outside of you. So there is no outside without the inside.
Yes.
And so the key is to learn to love everything outside of you. Now, I know that doesn't sound easy. I know that's not always easy.
Right.
But that's the work.
Yes.
That's the work. It's life work. That's why we're life coaches.
Yes, indeedy. You know, the idea of not only loving everything outside of you, I would take it a step further and say loving everything inside of you. Integrating every aspect of yourself into a loving way, right?
Yes.
Because we tend to compartmentalize ourselves, right? Like, I love this part of myself, but I hate this about myself, and I hate that about myself. But by doing that, what you're creating is you're putting the focus on that aspect of yourself. And so someone has to show up outside of you so that you could see that. And a lot of times we're doing that subconsciously. A lot of times subconsciously, we're looking at parts of ourselves that we don't like and we're beating ourselves up for it. And then the people outside of us show up and we're entangled with them because they're a match to us, right? So if we could love every aspect of ourselves, if you see someone outside of you that say is, I don't know, pushy, okay? If you see someone outside and you're like, oh, I'm so annoyed that they're pushy. There's a part of you that is probably pushy sometimes.
There's a part of inside of us of every possibility.
Every possibility.
That's the only reason we can experience it outside of us.
Yeah. And either we've developed a belief we don't like that behavior, or we see that in ourselves and we don't like it. But we have some negative perspective on that. This is why cleaning up your energy is so important. We're entangled with everything. And if we focus on the good stuff and we learn to integrate the things we don't like about ourselves and learn to love them, then what shows up in our outside world is more loving.
I agree. Man, that's beautiful. So, most people, they're using entanglement because they're not aware of it. Yeah. It's working against them.
How so?
Because they don't realize that there's so many negative things going on in the world today.
Right.
That when people focus on those things and they hate that person outside of them, their own life is getting worse.
Yeah.
Because that hate, it's like we say, anger, shame, guilt, any of those things, it corrodes the container that it's carried in.
Right.
And who's that container? You are. When you're hating that person outside of you, you're hating you. When you're loving that person outside of you, you're loving you. When you're forgiving that person outside of you, you're forgiving you. So in that episode when we talked about loving ourselves,
yes,
because we're entangled, another way to love yourself is by loving the people outside of you.
Yeah. Yes. But that's not easy, Anthony. No. It's hard. People are acting crazy. Why should we love them?
Well, I'll change that. You know what?
How can we love them?
It's not. It's hard if you say it's hard.
I agree.
It's easy if you say it's easy. And so, what are you going to make it?
Yeah,
that's up to you.
You know, one of the things that I have incorporated as a practice in my own life to be able to have compassion and love for others that are doing things that I would deem as naughty behavior. Naughty behavior is stuff I don't like. So naughty is defined by what I like and don't like, right? So when I see that, one of the things that I've done is I notice my mind wants to judge, right? Like, that's wrong, and look what they're doing, and that they shouldn't be doing that. And I start having those conversations, and I recognize those conversations because they're negative, and then I could feel it in my body because I start to feel angry or irritated, right? When that happens, I remind myself that everyone is a spirit. Everyone is a spirit that is having their experience for the advancement of their soul, and it is not a personal attack on me, and they are a version of me advancing my soul by doing the things that they're doing because we're entangled.
Love it.
Yes. So seeing past the physical, I think it's on the physical plane that we have such a hard time recognizing our togetherness and our oneness and our just humanity, right? On in a physical world level. But if we drop down into the spiritual, which is what I'm doing when I start telling myself everyone's a spirit and they're advancing their soul, it alleviates that negative ego energy that wants to come in and judge people and put them in a box and fix them and control them and do all the things that we want to do. When you drop into the spiritual or the energetic, even entanglement's energetic, the energetic level, then it takes away that sting that you have for others on the physical plane.
Get it, girl. Get it, baby.
Thanks, baby.
So I love this. Love building like this.
Yes.
Let's take it even further. Check this out, people.
Ooh.
Check this out.
Okay, I want to get closer now because I can't wait to hear what he's going to say.
Wait, there's more.
Okay, give it to me. Give it to me, baby.
Because we are all entangled, and we are not just entangled with the people that we see in physical form.
Yes.
We are entangled with the people that are not in physical form, people that your loved ones that passed away. They still exist. So you can still feel them, you can still experience them. But something else that's great about that, because energy never dies.
Nope.
Because we are entangled, you can tap into anybody in history. Their knowledge, their wisdom is yours if you can tap into it. You don't have to be around them. You don't have to see them. Even if you never met them. I've done this before. And this is why in the past when there'll be a book or something, right?
Yes.
And you'll read the book. And I don't read the book.
No, you don't read the book.
what I'll do is I'll intuitively tap into that entanglement and get into that author's mind. And then I can break down the concepts in the book, what the book's about.
Yes.
It won't go into every single detail, but it'll give me the general breakdown. And that's how for most of my life I gathered my information. I didn't realize I was doing it at first. But then once I became aware of it, I was able to do it better. So you can do that with business. Let's say there's a great business mind of an individual that passed away, and you want to tap into that energy and his thoughts. They still exist. It's still in the ethers. You're still entangled.
This is some advanced master teacher stuff, but you're absolutely right. I love that you're always the intuiter and I'm always the reader. In the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he talks about doing that. He talks about going into meditation and meeting with the council. And he's gathered, I can't even remember all the minds that he gathered in this council. And he would really actually visualize them at in a conference room and giving him advice. He'd ask for advice and he'd come out of those meditations with the advice that he got from that council because he was entangled, and he called them in. And then another instance of it is Einstein did it too.
Right.
Einstein would take a nap every day and hold a ball so that he could get himself into an alpha state, right? As he was falling asleep, he'd drop the ball, and then that would wake him up enough to tap into the theta. Sorry. See, that's why you're the expert. Tap into the energy of minds outside of him, like the mastermind concept, to tap into multiple minds and multiple energy and entanglement. And that's what masterminds are about, right?
Yes.
We could go into a whole thing about masterminds.
And people, I know to a lot of you listeners, you're thinking, this is crazy. This is out there.
No, they're not. They love it.
And if you think that, then it will be. And if you think that, then it is going to be. But if you open up your mind, just play with the possibility.
Or look it up.
Or say, I want to tap into it.
Yeah.
You will start to begin to tap into it. It may not happen immediately. It may take time, but you will eventually tap into it. And this isn't anything special that we're special and we can do it, but you can't. Everybody has this ability. If you're here, on this planet, if you're breathing, you have that ability. You can do it. It's our birthright. We've just never been taught to tap into this. In fact, we've been taught to go outside of us, but our power is really within us because there is no outside, once again, without the inside. So everything that you need, all the answers, it's inside of you, but you got to go within and connect with your spirit and open up your mind and open up your hearts, and you can tap into amazing things. So whether you want more love in your relationship, whether you're single and you want to attract love, Whether you're broke and you want to attract money, you want ideas, no matter what it is, you have the power to do it. You just have to be a cooperating component. Everything else in the universe is a cooperating component, and you have to be as well.
Yes. And really quickly, I want to talk about one of the things that most people have heard of is mastermind groups, right? And the whole idea of a mastermind group is when you get together more than two people, then you tap into each other's minds and each other's gifts and you trade information. So people are starting to do mastermind groups for business, mastermind groups for love, mastermind groups for all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people are doing mastermind groups and they don't even know what it actually means. It really is about entanglement. When you get together and you all focus on one thing together, you tap into each other's minds and you share information. So the whole idea of entanglement's amazing. I really encourage you guys. Like, one of the things that we always talk about is, in order to really love yourself, you have to know yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to understand how you work as a human being. And Anthony and I love this work because we are understanding ourselves more. We're understanding our clients more, our family more, so that we can love ourselves and love our family and our clients more. And we want the same thing for you. So I really hope that they loved this entanglement session and they learned from it.
So the homework is going to be for you to become more entangled with someone that you care about and that you love and you're close to already. One of the ways you can do this is get a picture of them and focus on that picture and direct your love, your thoughts, your energy towards that photo, and just hold that photo for, let's say, 15 minutes a day, focusing on it. Okay, if you can't do 15, start with 5. But ideally, you want to get to like 15.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that, what's going to happen? You're not going to strengthen that entanglement. You're just going to become more sensitive to it, more aware.
More aware. Yes.
And once you become more aware, you're going to feel that person more. You'll be able to pick up their thoughts. You'll even be able, in many cases, to pick up their location of where they're at. That's another experiment that they were doing with entanglement, to identify where people are at. So practice that a couple of minutes a day, and guarantee you're going to get amazing results. So,
yes. Good homework. I like it. I like it. I know people love the homework. So that's your homework, you guys.
All right.
Good job.
Good job,
baby. That was great. I love you. I love doing this work with you. I love the love revolution. Yes. I want to thank all of you for listening, for following us. Continue to share us and spread the love revolution. Follow us on Instagram at The Amazing Clarks and all the social media at The Amazing Clarks. And continue. And
don't forget to get our book.
Our book. Don't forget to get our book.
Crack the Code. Secrets to Achieving Your Happily Ever After. Available on Amazon.com.
Yes. So you guys keep loving yourself, keep learning about yourself, and thank you so much for joining us for the Amazing Clarks podcast and the Love Revolution.
There you go, people. We gave it to you. Now what you gonna do with it?